Episode 492. After Tang Ru's call, her soft mist had already rolled right to dodge, and Steamed Bun Invasion reacted just as fast, executing a clean left roll to evade.
Then, with a resolve that didn't lose out to Tang Ru's, Concealed Light let out a yell of his own.
Right after that shout, he was slammed flat into the ground by the mountain-shattering strike. The soft riverbank soil immediately formed the shape of a human body. Concealed Light was pinned to the ground by the heavy sword, his arms and legs still flailing about. It wasn't that he didn't want to dodge, he was just too slow on the controls. The guy was already flattened before his command even registered. So now the characters flopped over on their back, limbs still twitching.
You're so weak.
Steamed Bun Invasion laughed, but his hands were quick. He rushed forward to help, immediately going for a chokehold on the berserker who had just used Mountain Breaker. The berserker reacted quickly, leaping back to dodge, but his jump landed him right in Soft Mist's attack range. Tang Ru was already poised to strike. Seeing the opponent leap right into her range, she didn't even need to take those 2 steps. She simply slammed a palm into his back, a falling flower palm to send him flying. The berserker, who had just climbed out of the lake, went whooshing right back in.
Why'd you knock him into the water? How are we supposed to get him now?
Steamed Bun Invasion watched the berserker get smacked away and said, with regret. Those words sent a chill through the dozen or so men charging forward. That tone didn't sound like a bluff at all. It sounded like he was completely sure he could take them all down.
Could this Steamed Bun Invasion be another pro-god?
Suddenly, someone proposed a terrifying idea. This idea seems perfectly logical. If Yi Chu and Sumu Chung can show up, why couldn't another pro-god appear? Most people had only seen the name Steamed Bun Invasion on the leaderboards. While some had fought him, Lord Grimm's brilliance was simply too dazzling, which somewhat overshadowed the light of his teammates. The guilds hadn't studied Steamed Bun Invasion too deeply yet, they just knew his skills were definitely nothing to scoff at. And with Lord Grimm's true identity now exposed, the truth about Windward Formation was also out in the open. And as for Steamed Bun Invasion, the crowd began to follow that same line of thought.
I don't think that's quite right.
And your reason is?
What kind of stupid name is that?
What kind of brawler master is that weak?
These veterans were intimately familiar with all the professional players in Glory. Everyone knows who the top brawler players are. Thinking it over, none of them seemed like the type to pick a name as weird as Steamed Bun Invasion. The group was still stunned by Steamed Bun Invasion's entrance, giving him a moment's delay. By the time they recovered, Concealed Light had already scrambled to his feet, only to be met with Steamed Bun Invasion's merciless ridicule. Concealed Light was so frustrated he couldn't get a word out.
Just stick behind me and enjoy the show.
Steamed Bun Invasion finished speaking, leaving the dozen or so experts utterly bewildered. Just how strong must this person be to say something like that?
Let's give it a shot. Worst case, we die.
These dozen or so men still had some backbone. They weren't about to be cowed so easily. With a shout, they charged forward. But before they could close the distance, another notification pinged in their team channel. Another member had left the party.
Huh? What's going on?
This stalwart fellow was so startled he froze in his tracks. He swung his view around and counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No one was missing. When he looked back at Steamed Bun Invasion, a brick was already smacking into his face.
Shit.
A brick can't stop the person it hits from shouting. After all, it's just a game. Steamed Bun Invasion was quick on his feet, his moves fluid. With a swift sidestep, he circled around behind the man.
Kick him into the lake.
Tang Ru cried out.
Why?
Bowsy asked. But Bowsy's greatest strength was that while he asked questions, he didn't need to hear the answer before acting. So even as he spoke, he was already throwing a hook punch, followed by a spinning knee strike, sending the poor fellow flying into the water.
There's a boss in the water.
Tang Ru replied with ease.
A boss? Then let's go kill it too.
Baozi looked really worked up.
Can't kill it. The boss is on our team.
Baozi was still clueless, but the enemies across the way had already understood. They finally realized that Ye Chu and Su Mucheng were hiding in the water right beside them.
It's an ambush!
"It's an ambush!" someone yelled. Their fighting spirit instantly evaporated, but Tang Ru and Steamed Bun Invasion paid them no mind, charging in and laying into them with a flurry of blows. A few players were still in the water, hoping for cover from the shore so they could climb out. Only now did they realize the danger had been right beside them the whole time. The players in the water were now desperately trying to scramble ashore when they heard something break the surface behind them. They spun their cameras around just in time to see, holy crap, not one, but 2 grenades arcing over their heads, left and right. They landed right in front of them and exploded. The spray shoved several players right into the boss's embrace. They fought back desperately, but it was no use. If dozens of them couldn't handle Ye Chu in the water, what chance did these few have now? Even with 2 of their number already shoved into the water, those still on the shore held a clear numerical advantage over Tang Ro and her companions.
But the mere thought of Ye Chu being nearby and seeing the clear intent and method of their opponents to send them into the water threw all 10 plus of them into complete disarray.
At that moment, they weren't thinking about how to solve the problem, only about how to escape. With Tang Ru and the others so few in number, there was little they could do but chase after them with everything they had. To save time, they didn't bother finishing them off. They just focused on throwing the players into the water. In terms of pure mechanical skill, these players were no match for Tang Ru or Steamed Bun Invasion. But when it came to their knowledge of glory, they far surpassed the pair. At this point, they offered no resistance at all, losing purely to their fear of a top-tier pro player. Tang Ru and Steamed Bun Invasion had given it their all, but in the end, they only managed to send 5 more players into the water. Facing so many high-level players, Concealed Light had been extremely nervous. Who knew they'd be so utterly useless, letting him strut around a bit? Concealed Light had wanted to put on a good show, but his skill was just too lacking. The veteran's reactions were purely instinctive, and his little tricks couldn't even touch them. But the players' minds were in complete disarray. No one was paying any attention to how pathetic this summoner was.
Can't catch up?
After throwing 5 of them into the water, Tang Ru watched the others scattering into the distance with a hint of regret.
We shouldn't give up until the very last moment.
Baozi said.
Then go chase her.
Concealed Light was mocking him. While his practical tactics were lacking, his ability to read this sort of thing was spot on.
This is the final moment. I declare, I give up.
Idiot.
Concealed Light said, then turned and ran to the shore to watch the water battle.
Hey, is that any way to talk to your boss? You trying to get yourself killed? I'll toss you in the water for the boss to eat, I'm telling you.
Steamed Bun Invasion had also caught up.